Hello there. Quick. Yeah, I'm not going to do the intro. Y'all know who it is. You clicked on the video. You pay attention to the channel, and if you don't, you're mentally deficient. Quick disclaimer: Fallout 4 isn't working. I can't launch the game. Like, I can't load in my saves. Um, and I can't start a new save. So, it's gonna have to do the same podcast style as Last of Us. Um, Thankfully, the amazing menu music that I can hear, I don't know if y'all can hear it now, so I don't give a fuck. So, let's go over this beautiful, beautiful game that is 6 fucking years old. Um, yeah, I don't know where to start. I guess the intro be a good place to start. There's just a lot to unpack. As y'all know, it's one of my favorite games. So the game starts us off. My brain is dead, apparently. Jesus fuck. The game starts us off pre-war, which is honestly pretty cool to see. It is an instant up. Like that's an awesome thing to see. It didn't last long, but what do you want? Just 10 hours of going through the average day in American life pre-war. Fallout may be the only game that would be actually interesting in. I'd be down. Um, so you go through that. Once you played it a few times, you already know the process and all that. And then you go to the vault. You see the nuke go off. You descend, get frozen, woken up. Bitch get shot. What do you expect? Well, I'm sorry. I've went through that intro so many times. My lack of care has dissipated to the point of the game owes me care. So your wife gets shot, kid gets stolen. That's the plot for the game. You have to find your son, and it's not a bad plot. It's just, and I get actual character motivations, but they will give me reasons to give a fuck about the kid. That I think that would have been better, because to compare it to Fallout 3 gave you glimpses of growing up with your dad. So when your dad left the vault, you had a reason to give a fuck and go chase him down. Well, you know, then again, the lone wanderer may have just forgotten that his dad needed to go grab milk. Who knows? Anyway, so you go through that. You go through Sanctuary. This is where I first found the building system, and I'm going to save this for later. That section, because we continue talking about the story, because the story is really the only part for me that I really dislike about Fallout 4. I think it has a weak story. But I love the game. You've seen the amount of times I played through it on YouTube alone, and I can guarantee it's been more. So you go through Sanctuary. I'm not gonna do this for every mission, cause no, I'm just doing this beginning to get you through shit. He shows you more combat, and it's really what a shit the world has become. Then you go to Red Rocket, meet Dogmeat, go to Concord, and meet the most annoying character in this game, Marcy Long. Not I mean, Preston's annoying, don't get me wrong, but at least Preston is a caring, understanding human being who is thankful that you saved him and his friends. Marcy does not care. She would rather she'd rather have you not saved their life. I don't know. No, I don't fucking know. And most annoying of all, when you build her, when you take her back to the settlement and build it, no matter what, she will never be happy. She'll never do her job. This is why, in an update, Bethesda added the ability to fucking murder her. Because it used to be she was a key NPC and couldn't die. Bethesda allowed you to murder her and Jung Long. I don't know why I'd kill Jung, I don't know his name. Mr. Long, I don't know why I'd kill him. He's super, I mean, he's depressed, sure, but like, he's super appreciative that you saved his life and the rest of everyone's. He's just sad that he lost his son. So, he's a good guy. I get his sadness. You know, you got the drug addict, Mama Murphy. And then you got, I forgot his name. I know he's a synth. Sturgis, yeah. You got Sturgis, and he's the one who gives you the first question to building. So that's your meeting. Well, then Preston, obviously. Everyone knows Preston. He's a fucking meme. Alright, it's been 6 years. You've seen that meme at least one point in your life, even if you've never watched or known anything about Fallout. You've seen the meme. Another settlement needs your help. So that's where you meet the Minutemen, which is one of the 4 main factions you can side with. Similar to that of Fallout New Vegas's. Just listen, Patrol. So you go on from there and you can meet Paladin Dance and the Brotherhood in Concord. No, fuck. You meet him at a police station and you help him against a fucking army of feral ghouls. And you go to there, meet Sense for the first time, come back, yada yada, you join the Brotherhood. Or could. It's up to you. That's the second faction. And then later on in the story, I should have prefaced this video, I guess, with spoilers, but like, it's 6 years old. The fuck you doing? And the story does not matter. It matters, but like, the spoilers don't matter. And then later down the line, eventually, you will build a teleporter with one of the 4 factions. I'm saving the little fourth, one of the 3 factions, so you can meet the 4th. Saving the 3rd faction for last because I absolutely hate them, and I'm going to explain everything that's dumb about them, in my opinion. So, yada yada, you arrive at the Institute, you meet Father, which is your son, but still has the nameplate Father instead of Sean. Like, everything of his is still called Father instead of Sean's. I don't fucking know. Which is really weird if you're actually a male, because you're father's father, and like, I think Sense comment on that, and it's honestly really annoying walking through the Institute and hearing it. So you meet him, and that's the 3rd, 4th, technically, faction that you meet. The Institute. Evil scientist. I didn't really explain the Brotherhood, but it's Brotherhood hasn't changed since Fallout 1. I mean, it changed from 3 to 4, but 3 also changed from 2, and so, you know, it's just going back. I don't know why people were so mad that the Brotherhood of Steel is fascist, racist, and all that. They've been that for years. Just because 3's was lovey-dovey. It's stupid. Anyway, I like both 3's and 4's, by the way, just so you know. Because Sarah Lyons. Although Lyons is meh, but Sarah is French kiss. Anyway, God damn it. So it's factions, and then you meet. To get to this point, you have to meet the Railroad. The dumbest fucking faction in Fallout. I'd sooner join the Children of Adam, or become a feral ghoul, or become a super mutant, than join the fucking Railroad. And I had to do it once for a fucking playthrough. I hate the Railroad. The Railroad believes that terrorist toasters, otherwise known as Sense, are people, because they look like them. With that clarification, I guess Arnold Schwarzenegger, I said his last name wrong and I feel stupid. I mean, it's his last name, but I can't pronounce English, so leave me alone. Anyway, so Arnie, it's T2, T-800, my bad, from the first Terminator. I guess he's human. So the Terminator's humans now because they look like human, and on the outside you can't tell they're not human. Does that make them human? Hell Railroad, the murder machine from the future, is that human? Anyway, so since our people, I guess, I don't fucking know. It's a whole. It's because you're in Boston, in the Underground Railroad, with the act that helped saved actual people from slavery and horrors is remade now to save people. Big ass asterisks since terrorist toasters. I'm gonna refer to them as terrorist toasters for the rest of this video, or TTs. Anyway, so that's their whole thing. So they believe that these terrorist toasters, robots, don't need food, water, oxygen, or really have any real feelings, but can only know what feelings are based off programming. So they wipe the damn thing's mind. So it's harder to track down from the Institute. Yeah, it's dumb. So that's their whole thing, and they've somehow survived this long against the Institute. And I get it, they're underground and hidden, but if you do the Institute quest, you see how easily the Institute just fucking murks them. It's so easy to kill the railroad because you can just walk around the Commonwealth and find tips of how to find their fucking HQ. Follow the Freedom Road and all that. So, like, one of the best ways I've murdered them is going through their front door for a fucking minigun. And bing, bada boo, there is no more railroad. So that's really there. I'm gonna skip a lot of the story stuff because it's. I think one of the cooler villains that you meet in the story was Kellogg cereal. He's actually a really cool villain, but he died pretty early on. Like, pretty early on. So that's whatever. So I'm gonna talk about the endings real quick. There is 4 endings. 4. There's 2 actually. Because what the ending is with 3 out of the 4 factions, Brotherhood, Minutemen, or Railroad, you will nuke the Institute and it'll play the exact same cutscene. But whatever faction you choose, their flag will wave in Diamond City, and you see those people in Diamond City, which is whatever. Oh no, Diamond City. I don't even bother trading in Diamond City. I trade with my Minutemen traders. Just flexing my Minutemen general status. By the way, I'm far more of a tyrant than Elder Max ever is. But Elder Max has a gangster ass coat, so it makes the Brotherhood the best faction because of his coat purely. Also, fun fact, you can join 2 factions at the same time. I was the General of the Minutemen and the director, leader. I was Joseph Stalin of the Institute, and at the same time. So, like, really. The other ending is you set up the Institute and you murk the railroad. You can murk the railroad no matter what faction you choose, except for Railroad, obviously, which is French kiss again. It's beautiful, so glorious. And then you murk the Brotherhood by blowing up Liberty Prime. It's actually pretty cool. Seeing the Pridwin blow up is actually a really cool scene, no matter what faction you choose. Except for maybe the Minutemen, because you just kind of yeet motors at it. Mortars, fucking artillery. He just yeets some artillery shells at it from the castle. So, yeah. I wouldn't know exactly, because I've never murked the Brotherhood except for my Institute run. And Railroad, because they force you to. But, yeah, I love the Brotherhood. So that's really the only two different endings. Is basically the same cutscene afterwards, and these kind of continue out of Endgame. So I'm gonna talk about the building system, which was one of the big things that was added to this game. I'll get onto the DLCs later. The building system, as you know, I fucking love. It's just fun, enjoyable. It's cool to show my impact in the world, because I think that's one thing that this game sorely is lacking compared to Fallout 3 in New Vegas. Because in 3, like, with Broken Steel, depending on what you did, you poisoned the water or didn't poison the water, you'll see people either dying or you'll see Aquapira all over. There's quests related to it. There's impact. And then in Fallout New Vegas, there's no end game, but you'll see the impact of the cutscenes, and it makes it feel like you had impact. This game does not. I wish it did, but it doesn't. Most, you're just missing factions and sellers now, which is boo-hoo. Oh no, I can't buy synth armor, or I can't buy railroad stuff, or I can't buy Brotherhood stuff, and you build your own Minutemen stuff, so it's whatever. So the most impact I found is when I built settlements, and I raised that glorious, patriotic Minutemen flag above every settlement. Every goddamn one. Minutemen flags everywhere, and propaganda, and statues, and walls, and turrets. It's beautiful. It makes the Commonwealth a safe and glorious place. Land of the free and home of the brave. Anyway, so I really enjoy it, but I can see where some dislike it. It's not mandatory at all. There's 2 quests actually involve 3 or 4 quests. There's like a less than 10, between 5 and 10 quests that actually involve it. And for mainline story, there's 1. Depending on what faction you choose. And that comes when you have to build the teleporter. If you're with the Minutemen, I think you have to help Sanctuary, which you have to build defenses, beds, and food and water. And then from there you go help settlements, and you have to do stuff like build relay towers. But it's not really required, so you can honestly ignore it and just play the side quests. Which I'm not gonna point any one side quest out as much as I think the actual story itself is kinda not shitty, but mediocre. You know, it's whatever, but I think a lot of side quests is fun and interesting. Detective ones with Nick Valentine is beautiful. Nick Valentine's great, and like a lot of them is fun and just silly, which is Fallout is. It'll take serious matters and it'll take silly matters. Like you'll hunt down a killer, but at the same time you gotta convince someone to vote, or just stupid stuff like that. Like I can only think of Fallout 3 because that's the most recent one I've played. Side quest, I beat like every side quest I've come across in this one, including Creation Club ones. So they're all kind of mingled together. I'm trying to think of ones that outside of the DLCs. So there's not really too much to say about the building, really. It's teach their own, but it's a great feature. I don't think it should be removed. I think 76 implemented it wrong. I think there's 76 has a lot of problems, but that's 76. Let's talk about 4. So, you know, shit, English. So let's go on. So really, side quests I think are a great addition and don't fail you. There's a couple like the fight pit would have been cool if it came together, but we got that in a DLC we can do in our own settlements later on. It was content. I'm not upset about that. But stuff like that was great. There's the Yangtze nuclear subquest, which is actually really enjoyable because if you don't kill him, you have access to 3 meh nukes. But it's also really cool because you get to meet a kami, like a ghoul, and you can rob him if your stealth is high enough and you have the perk to take his clothes off of him, which I did. So how there's a naked ghoul in a submarine in Boston Harbor. I enjoyed the quest, and you find out about a kid talking about a monster, which is really cool. So I think the side quests are a great addition to this game. There's like another one. I want to move on, but I have to mention this one because it just fills me with patriotic joy if you play it, in my opinion, the right way of helping the USS Constitution. I fucked its name up. I think it's not. No, it's not the Constitution, is it? No, it's a really old uh, revolutionary era warship from the U.S. Navy. It's an actual museum out in Boston. It's really cool because it has jet engines in a building. And at a point in the quest, you can fire cannons out of it, and you have to fight with these scavengers to protect the ship. And then you get to fly actually. And it crashes into another building, and the captain is just fucking funny as shit. Captain Brownside. He gives you a fucking cannon, by the way, which is kind of a useless weapon but fun. And he's fucking absolutely insane. But he's like, yes, we, by my conjecture, we will eventually reach the ocean and go fight China. And that's just beautiful. So that's really. So I'm gonna quickly bring up companions because there's not too many to list. But I think I only need to bring up the main ones that you're gonna meet unless you go out of your way. There's Nick Valentine, who you have no choice. Same with Piper, Dogmeat, and Codsworth of meeting. You have to meet them. You will meet them to do the main story. Nick Valentine is the only synth I give a shit about. Okay, there's two synths I give a shit. There's two synths I give a shit about. Nick Valentine and Paladin Dance. And I have to kill one in a quest. And you better do it for the Brotherhood. It's beautiful. Nick Valentine's a great character. He's an interesting character, especially with Expanded Pond and Far Harbor. He has his quips, and it's just great. And yeah, Piper, who's not really. She's not the brightest bulb, but she's cute. She's a really caring person. Shitty reporter. Like, she definitely works for CNN. That's a joke. Don't take that seriously. And if you're on the other side of the political spectrum, she works for Fox, I guess. I don't know. She'd honestly probably work for Fox because she's cute, and that's where Fox actually hires. I mean, that's not what they pick, but I think they have more. I don't actually watch the news, so I'm just making jokes. Because the news is shitty. And then you have Codsworth, which is a really cool robot, where I think it has like a list of like 500 names he'll actually say. For example, like there's Joe. He'll say, Mr. Joe. And he'll talk to you about stuff, which is really cool. There's Dogmeat, who is so cute. It is a dog. So, yeah, that's all I need to be said. It is a puppy. Do not hurt Dogmeat, or I will hurt you. I'm kidding. Well, I mean, I can't hurt you, but I will think about it, and I will wish I can, and hope God does for your sins of hurting the doggo. Alright? Now here's the characters you might miss, which I think are really cool. There's Kate, which is an Irish fighter who is addicted to chems and has, once you get a relationship, has a whole quest of curing her. Well, I think that's really cool. Character redemption, all that. She has a whole story. Dance, who I've already mentioned, he's the Brotherhood of Steel. You can become a companion later on. He ends up being a synth. Still one of my favorite characters. There's Kiri, who is a robot who you can transfer into a synth's body. I haven't done that because I don't care to bring around robots, and I don't like synths. So I'll be going against everything I believe in. And then there's X688, who is a synth, who I actually have as my companion. But, I don't treat him as a human. He's slowly there to get shot for me and shoot other people for me, alright? I'm an honest man. I don't care for synths. They're not humans, but damn it, they're useful. I think that's all I can think off the top of my head. I know there's more, I know there's less. Oh, there's Hancock, who is the best school in Boston. There's actually a real fun side quest related to Good Neighbor. He's the mayor of Good Neighbor. He can be your companion. And he likes to party. My phone just committed suicide. That's what that was. Uh, yeah, that's all there is. Companion wise, I could think to care about or that's important to mention. There's more, there's less, and then there's DLCs, which I think I'll get to here in a second. First, I want to talk about the map, which I think is really coolly done. So on the outskirts, it's like barren wasteland. Obviously, Fallout, a few buildings here and there, some not towns but settlements you can build up. And the closer you get in, the more populated it gets. Highways, you'll see more cars, roads. Then it gets to city, and just exploring, walking around the city is great in Boston. Except there's far too many super mutants, and not interested in raider gangs. There's a couple interesting ones, and the rest is, because they all look the same. I know in Fallout 3, there's like some raiders had a hockey mask, others didn't. I think it was better done. Then in New Vegas, they're all part of like actual gangs, and that was really cool. And we move on to, and then buildings. Diamond City is the main one I want to talk about. I think it's cool, but could have been better. Like they could have utilized more of the stands instead. They just kind of have the field. I'm not a baseball fan. I like sports. I like football. I like hockey. I think those are really fun. And pro wrestling. Those are the things I watch. I really don't watch hockey, but I'd like to. But I'm from Michigan, and the Red Wings kind of suck right now. I mean, so do the Lions, but football all day, so. So like, I don't care about baseball, but it's really cool to be in the stadium. I just wish it would do more with it, like be out in the stands. And if you actually get the Fallout 4 art book, which is Fresh Kiss again, it's beautiful. I love the art. It just adds so much more stuff. It's like, damn, wish I had them. But Diamond City, there's several things like the mayor's a dick, fuck him. And then there's Takanashi Noodles. It's a robot who can only say one thing. I forgot what that means, and I can't pronounce it because it's in Japanese. So there's stuff like that. There's not really too much to say about Diamond City. It's cool and all, but I think Megaton was more interesting. But the problem with Fallout 4 stuff is we only have Diamond City. Like there's Diamond City. That's it. There's Covenant, but Covenant's like the Republic of Dave. To continue comparing it to Fallout 3. I don't usually support comparing games to other games, but when it's in the same series, it's fine. So like Fallout, Diamond City's like a Megaton. There's just no way to destroy Diamond City, but there's no equivalent to Rivet City. So that kind of sucks. And then, like I said, Covenant's another town. It's more equivalent to that, the Republic of Dave, which actually is a real interesting side quest about discovering and killing synths, which is kind of cool. I think I actually ended up killing everyone because I wanted that town as a settlement, though. So, yeah. And then, it's really, can't say too much. Not that like I can't say too much. I can say so many things, but I think it's more of, well, what do you say? Cool things they stopped doing. As much as I think that love the Enclave, I think they're an interesting and fun faction. I'm happy they're not in this game because we don't need every mainline Fallout, except for the first one, to have the fucking Enclave. I love them, I really do. Fallout 2, Enclave. 3, Enclave. 4, no Enclave. New Vegas, I think, had references to the Enclave and had stuff with the Enclave, but it really shows that what you did in 3, destroying the Enclave, was really impactful and actually mattered, which I like a lot. So I think this is a good point to jump into the DLCs, which are here. So our first one's Automatron, which is a really fun and good DLC. You unlock it at rank 15 in game, and you move around, and there's robots you can build. It's kind of interesting side quest to meet the Mechanist. It's an interesting character. You get the Mechanist Edge, which is a fun settlement. You get to build robots. It's cool. It's actually an interesting story. Wasteland Workshop. My controller's fucked up. It's actually kind of annoying. A Wasteland Workshop is. It's. I like building, but like. This and Contraptions should have been one DLC. We should have got another one. Is I'm saying because there isn't two. It's only $5 though, so it's meh. There's no story. It's just new stuff to build. Far Harbor is one of my favorite game DLCs ever. You go to an island, and I don't forgot the state. Bar Harbor is the actual place, and the island's covered in fog. You meet 3 new factions, but there's different. It can end depending on your choices, like extremely. It's well put together. Old Longfellow is an interesting and fun companion. It's interesting quests. It's all interesting to do. There's new armor, guns that are great. There's a synth enclave out in the mountains. And because they had stuff I wanted to buy but didn't have the caps, I created pieces across the island. There's Children of Adam you can actually join now. My favorite playthrough of that is nuking that bunker. That's the only thing I plan to actually spoil, is you can nuke the Children of Adam. That's it. Which I think is, I don't know if it's a bad thing to do, because isn't that what they want? At the end is get nuked. I know that's an actual thing you can, like, talk to them about. But yeah, that's, if you may not care about the rest of Fallout 4, but Far Harbor is worth it. Controller, fuck off. Next we have Contraptions. I think I use more stuff from the Contraptions I do in Wasteland. But again, it's just adding new stuff to build, which is meh. Vault Tech is another one where at least this one has a story, kinda. It's Unfinished Vault 88. You help the former overseer do a few tests. This is so annoying. So it's... Huh. That's not noticed. There's a woman on each cover art for the Contraptions DLC. Different positions holding tools. It's interesting. Never noticed that before. Fucking shit. I guess Far Harbor doesn't give a shit. It's the only one that does have a female on the cover. Anyway, Contraptions. Vault Tech. As a chance I'll start, you meet one of my favorite characters, actually Clem. Who's just so happy-go-lucky. He's like, yeah, let's do this, let's do that. And it's a fun vault. Go watch my video on it. That was a fun thing to build. This is even more fun to break down, so my game would actually function. Yeah, that was cool. Then we have Nuka World. I like Nuka World. I think Far Harbor is a better DLC. I think really you should buy all the DLCs. You don't need Contraptions or Wasteland if you don't want settlements. I still think you should fuck around with Vault Tech because it is still fun. But Nuka World is fun. You go to Nuka World, obviously. It's another one we meet. You can become a leader of the raiders. You go conquer the vault, and eventually you have to murder a gang. I'm gonna spoil this one because it's not really strong story-wise. It's just fun and interesting, like the side stuff when you explore each individual section. And then you murder a gang, whatever. But here's the fun part: you get to come over to the Commonwealth and start taking over settlements. And you can wipe out the Minutemen and control all the settlements. I took over a couple settlements and pissed off Preston Garvey because motherfucker has some spies. He knew I was behind it. All right. And he don't like talking to me anymore. And I'm sad because I did eventually murder the raiders, which is something you could do and all that. He still won't talk to me, and it makes me sad because I think I left some loot in his inventory. I can just pickpocket him, but he's in the sanctuary, and I'm gonna get murked if I try. So, I won't get murked, but I'd have to quit without saving. So that's really all the DLCs. If I had to rate the DLCs individually, Automatron I think is an 8 out of 10. It's really fun. Not really consequential, but I don't think it's good enough to get 9/10. I don't know what it can prove. Maybe longer. A couple more interesting side characters than Ada. and Jezebel. The new rated game is actually really cool. Wasteland Workshop doesn't get a rating. It's just that Bar Harbor's a 10 out of 10. Easy. Constructions, again, no rating. Vault-Tec, because it tried meaning something it wasn't, gets a rating. And we kill my controller. It gets a rating at, I think a 7, no, 6. It's above average. The vault's really fun to mess with, and if it didn't fake a story, I wouldn't mind. I mean, it's cool to have, but at the same time, it's like, thank you. At the same time, it's like, oh, there's that. Then Nuka World, I think, is 8 out of 10. So with Tomatron, I think they could have did more. They could have made outside of the park more interesting. It probably would have murdered the game, though, because I murdered the game with settlements. So I can see why they didn't. But then they have like the towns of Bradburn outside. You can't explore too many buildings, which kind of sucks. And I think I've gone over everything major. Really, it's just such an expansive game that it's hard to think of, pinpoint a few things, especially when I've so recently played 3 in New Vegas. The Recreation Club is something I'll bring up real quick. I don't think it's a bad thing because I do find them interesting, but my biggest problem is I'm on PS4, so I'm kind of biased towards the Creation Club where, like, I don't get cool mods from the mods menu, so all of my cool stuff comes from Creation Club, and I love them. I spent money on it, but I think if you don't want to spend money, you don't have to. That's the cool part about it. As much as I think it's dull to be paying for the stuff, it's like mini DLC, really. And if you want it, you can. I love the Fallout 4 enough where I wanted to. So that's not going to affect it. That came way after the game. Not way after, but it came to a point where it didn't really matter. It's not the Atomic Shop and Fallout 76 where it's fucking horrible. So it's kind of just there, to each their own. And then, really, what do I have left to say? I can't think of too much left to say, honestly, so this is the point where I'm calling it. So, total, I'd give the game an 8 out of 10. I think the main story lacks enough to bring it down 1.2. And there's a couple things where they could fix more. Couple more. Like another interesting city. Like Quincy, I think could have been more interesting. That was a big settlement. Jamaica Plains was interesting, but that made me mad as a settlement builder, so I won't get too into that. But like, Fallout 3 gave such interesting faction states and then actual cities. And then like add that one tower where you'd watch the nuking a megaton. Just more stuff like that I think would have helped. Diamond City being explored better would have given it that extra thing. I think, but that main story was such a drop off. And being fun. Especially if you chose Railroad. Because you had to, you did the same thing as the other 3 factions. You murked 2 except for the Minutemen. Minutemen is the only faction you have to kill one other faction. As a Minutemen, you only have to murder the Institute. You don't have to do anything special. You just have to murder the Institute. But with the Brotherhood, the Railroad, and the Institute, depending on which one of those 3 you choose, you have to kill the other 2. That's not a choice, you have to. Which is kind of sucks. I think the ending really pulls it down. Because it's the exact same. It's not like this is what's happening out there the Brotherhood and since not being hunted down, or now that the Institute's won, it's cracking down on anti-Institute stuff. It's taking more control. It's out in the open, no longer shadowy. Or the Railroad wins. They're moving in the open. They've murked 2 factions. Sorry about that. They've murked 2 factions. And like, what about? Yeah, now they're out in the open. They're powerful. They're saving cents. And they're helping normal people too. Or the Minutemen, where it's like they're setting up a government now. The free people of the Commonwealth are helping. mean, granted, me as a Minuteman channel, that is not fucking happening. But just more stuff like that could have helped compared to New Vegas's. Like, New Vegas, you went in as, yes man, it's like the city of Vegas is protected, but the rest of the Mojave is just insane now. Stuff like that I think could have helped it. But yeah, I think an 8 out of 10. Sorry, I heard some. I think an 8 out of 10 is perfect for this game. An 8.5 maybe. But I think it gets the Golden Seal approval, and I think it's a game you should go out play. Fuck the main story. Just enjoy the rest of the game. I mean, go through it. Make your own opinions of it, obviously. If you pick the railroad, I think negatively of you slightly. And yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Thank y'all. See y'all in the next video.